Just shy of 2 years ago, I made a video where I took a look at 4 of the most popular 4K streaming devices on the market. At that time, I didn't have much experience with Roku, but since then, I've purchased several Roku products and have actually quit using Chromecast and have replaced all the streaming devices in our house with Roku devices. What can I say? I like their stuff. On a separate note, my mom bought a Samsung QLED TV about a year ago, and ever since buying it, she's felt the speakers built into the TV are just too quiet. When her AC or heat come on, she has to turn up the volume to be able to hear it, and the sound quality overall is just meh. For months now, I've told her she just needs to go get a soundbar, and that will help the problem immensely. But as we've all experienced, sometimes it takes us a while to get around to doing certain things, and getting a soundbar for her TV hasn't yet made it to the top of her to-do list. That is where I came in. Recently, Roku has released 2 different soundbars. They have their Smart Soundbar and its little brother, the Streambar. I purchased both to compare the 2 of them head to head. And my hope is this video will help people like you wondering which one of them is the best choice for them to make an informed decision. What I'm about to say is a little bit of a spoiler, but whatever. As I'm sure you can guess, the larger, more expensive unit offers better sound than its smaller, less expensive little brother. But I think the real question here is there a big enough difference to justify the $40 price difference between the 2? The Streambar measures 14 inches wide by 2.5 inches tall by 4.25 inches deep. It's a little less than half the size of the Smart Soundbar, but sounds surprisingly good for its size. I know this demonstration is only going to sound as good as the speakers you're listening to this on, and isn't going to give you the experience of what it's actually like listening to media on this device, but I hope you'll at the very least be able to hear a difference between the different devices. Here is what the built-in speakers of my mom's Samsung QLED TV sound like. That's it. I hope you found this video helpful and or informative in some way. If you did, there are those things you can do to let the YouTube algorithm, myself, and your friends and family know how much you enjoyed it.
You don't want any part of this.
Now let's watch those same clips again, only this time using the Roku Streambar. That's it. I hope you found this video helpful and or informative in some way. If you did, there are those things you can do to let the YouTube algorithm, myself, and your friends and family know how much you enjoyed it. If you appreciate it.
You don't want any part of this.
I should mention that I turned the bass boost setting on in the Roku menu, as I feel it helps better showcase what this soundbar can sound like. With bass boost off, I was much less impressed. Anyway, comparing the two, the TV's built-in speakers sound very tinny and flat. In contrast, I feel the Streambar sounds much fuller, and the amount of bass it adds kind of surprised me and made for a very pleasant listening experience. It's not going to shake your room or make you feel like an explosion just went off next to you or anything like that, but compared to the TV's speakers alone, there's a night and day improvement to the audio. Switching to the Roku Smart Soundbar, it measures 32.25 inches in length, 2.75 inches tall, and just shy of 4 inches in depth. I again enabled the bass boost setting in the settings menu to try my best to compare things on as even a playing field as I could. Here's a reminder of how the TV speakers alone sound. that's it. I hope you found this video helpful and or informative in some way. If you did, there are those things you can do to let the YouTube algorithm, myself, and your friends and family know how much you enjoyed it.
You don't want any part of this.
And now, here's what the Roku Smart Soundbar sounds like in comparison. That's it. I hope you found this video helpful and or informative in some way. If you did, there are those things you can do to let the YouTube algorithm, myself, and your friends and family know how much you enjoyed it. If you
You don't want any part of this.
I don't know about you, but the soundbar audio is so much better. There is no competition at all from the TV's built-in speakers. The audio is not only capable of being much louder, but just sounds so much fuller. You get a pleasant sounding mix of highs, mids, and lows with the Smart Soundbar, and the TV speakers sound terrible in comparison. But this is no surprise. Compared to speakers in modern flat panel televisions, these soundbars mop the floor with them, which is why soundbars exist. But how did the two Roku soundbars compare to each other? That's it. I hope you found this video helpful and or informative in some way. If you did, there are those things you can do to let the YouTube algorithm, myself, and your friends and family know how much you enjoyed it. If you appreciate it.
You don't want any part of this.
I don't know for sure how well you're going to be able to hear it on the video, but in person, the Smart Soundbar definitely sounds better. It has more and deeper bass and is capable of turning the volume up much louder than the Streambar. To get them to more or less the same volume level, I had to turn the Streambar up to 50, while the Smart Soundbar was at 25. Of course, the Smart Soundbar costs quite a bit more money than the Streambar, so it should sound better. But putting that aside, I feel these two soundbars are both really good options over using your TV's built-in speakers alone. Especially when you take into consideration you're not only getting a soundbar, but a 4K Roku streaming player as well. So after playing around with these two soundbars for a couple of days, the question came to my mind. How does the sound quality of these soundbars, which have a 4K Roku streaming player built into them, compare to a similarly priced standalone soundbar? I immediately pulled out my phone and hopped on bestbuy.com to see what I could go and buy for around the same price that same day. And here's what I found. The Samsung HW S40T. It currently costs $149.99, which is the same price I paid for the Roku Smart Soundbar. The week after purchasing the Roku Smart Soundbar, however, the price jumped up to $179.99. So I actually don't know if I got it on sale or if the recent tariff situation in the US has something to do with the price increase at the time I'm making this video. But when I bought them, these two cost me the same amount of money, and I wanted to compare the audio quality between the two. So is there a noticeable difference in the audio quality between the two soundbars? Because in my mind, if they more or less sound the same, then I feel you're getting a better deal with the Roku Smart Soundbar, as it has a great 4K streaming player built into it as well. To compare these two, I set the volume to where the overall loudness was the same, and then I switched back and forth between the two soundbars. I hope you found this video helpful and or informative in some way. If you did, there are those things you can do to let the YouTube algorithm, myself, and your friends and family know how much you enjoyed it. If you would...
You don't want any part of this.
Again, I don't know how well you're going to be able to hear the difference through this video, but overall, I feel they sounded pretty similar. The main difference I feel I noticed was the bass on the Roku had more punch than the Samsung, but at the same time, there were some bass frequencies the Samsung seemed to handle better than the Roku did. I will admit that I don't have the technical knowledge when it comes to audio equipment to explain exactly what the difference is, but what I noticed was while playing music, there were bass notes that you could hear on the Samsung just fine, but on the Roku, those same notes got quiet as if the speakers weren't able to play that particular frequency. But other than that, I feel they both sound really good, and neither one stood out as a clear winner over the other. Based on the fact I paid $150 for each of them, my personal opinion is the Roku is the better value, as you're getting both a great sounding soundbar and a 4K streaming device. However, when you take into account the Roku Smart Soundbar is currently selling for $179.99, it's not quite as good a deal. I still feel it's a decent deal, but certainly not as good as when it was $30 cheaper. But at the same time, there is the convenience factor of having a streaming device and soundbar in one, rather than having two separate devices sitting on your entertainment center. Okay, so I've spent a lot of time talking about the sound you get out of these speakers and haven't touched at all on what all they come with or what they're like as a streaming device, so let's get into that now. Both the Streambar and the Smart Soundbar come with the same accessories in the box. They both come with a power cord, HDMI cable, optical audio cable, and Roku remote control, and the batteries are included. Personally, I'm not a fan of the purple accents on the Roku remote, but other than that, I really like the Roku remote. It's comfortable in your hand, the button layout and the way they feel when you press them just feels right. Both soundbars are super easy to set up. You connect the power cord to the soundbar, then the HDMI cable to your TV's HDMI port. Make sure you connect it to one that's labeled HDMI ARC, which stands for Audio Return Channel. This allows whatever audio is playing on your TV to be played on the soundbar. For example, if you're watching something over the air, this will allow the audio to play on the soundbar. Otherwise, it would only be able to play on your TV speakers. Now, let's say you don't have an HDMI ARC port on your TV. You can then use the included optical cable to get your TV's audio to the soundbar. As for any content you stream using the soundbar's built-in Roku player, that audio will be played directly on the soundbar. If you already own other Roku streaming players and have a Roku account, setting up these soundbars is pretty simple. You'll first need to pair the remote with your player, which happens pretty much automatically once you put the batteries into the remote control. You'll then be prompted to select your language and then connect to your home wireless network. The Roku will then automatically check for software updates, and then you'll be prompted to set your display type. Once you're through that, you'll input the email address associated with your Roku account, and they'll email you a link to authorize that device on your account. The rest of the setup you'll complete from your phone or a computer or something by first naming your device and setting what room it's located in. Then you'll select the apps you want to install, and since it's going to be linked to your Roku account, it knows what apps you already have installed on your other Roku devices and downloads and installs those for you. You'll also be given the opportunity to sign up for free trial periods of different streaming services and whatnot, but once you're done with all that, you'll just need to wait while it installs your apps. For those of you that are already Roku owners, using apps and navigating the menu of both the Streambar and the Smart Soundbar is going to be exactly what you're used to. Roku's interface isn't as flashy as other streaming devices like the Apple TV or Amazon Fire TV, but personally, I really like how simple and straightforward Roku's menus are. I don't know for sure what hardware is in these soundbars, but its performance feels on par to me with what I experience using their Streaming Stick Plus. They just don't feel quite as responsive to me as our Roku Ultra. But the Roku Ultra does cost $100 by itself, so it makes sense to me that the Streambar and Smart Soundbar at their price points wouldn't have as powerful of hardware as the Roku Ultra. I'm not saying the experience with the Streambar or Smart Soundbar is bad at all. I just feel like the performance of the Roku Ultra is better. Sometimes my inputs on the Smart Soundbar and the Streambar lag behind a bit, and compared to the Roku Ultra, apps seem like they load a little bit slower. Again, it's not a deal breaker by any means. I just want to point out that just because these soundbars each cost over $100, don't expect Roku Ultra type of performance out of them. They do both play 4K HDR content, however, so that's pretty cool. Both soundbars do feature Bluetooth connectivity, so if you want to use them as a wireless speaker you can connect your phone or tablet to play music, you can totally do that. Both come with Roku's Voice remote, which allows you to open apps and search for content by pressing and holding the microphone button on the remote and just simply telling the Roku what you want to do. Play Avengers Endgame on Disney+.
Playing Avengers Endgame on Disney+.
The remote control can also be programmed to turn your TV off and on, as well as control your TV's volume. So if you're a cord cutter, then most of the time the only remote you'll need is your Roku remote. Both soundbars support Apple AirPlay, so you can easily share photos, videos, and music from your iOS device to your TV. And since Roku is platform agnostic, it's compatible with Android devices too. So no matter what platform you prefer, Apple or Android, you can cast and screen mirror your mobile device to your TV through the Roku. For people in the market for a streaming device for their TV who also want better sound than what their TV speakers offer, I think these Roku soundbars are a great solution. Personally, I would choose to go with the Smart Soundbar over the Streambar. While the Streambar sounds good, I prefer the additional bass and additional volume the Roku Smart Soundbar offers. If you don't have the space for a 32-inch soundbar, however, and are looking for something small and compact, I feel the Streambar is a great upgrade over your TV's built-in speakers. So what do you think? Are these Roku soundbars worth their asking price? And if so, which soundbar would fit your setup best? The Smart Soundbar or the Streambar? As I am sure you could tell, this is the end of the video. But before you bounce out of here, I've got to do the customary YouTube things. Actually, I don't need to do that. I'm pretty sure you know what to do. If you enjoy the work I do here on my channel and would like to help me continue making content like this, please check out my Amazon store at the link in the video description, where you can purchase the Roku Streambar or Smart Soundbar, or a bunch of other things that I've featured in past videos. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you in another video real soon. We'll catch you later.